And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. We're almost at 300,000. So hit subscribe, watch, comment. I want your comments and share with friends because there's a lot going on and there's going to be even more to talk about in days to come. Now, as Trump enters the second month of his presidency, many of his supporters are up in arms. Why, you may ask? Well, what's been going on with the price of their gas and their groceries? They've been going up and up and up, despite, of course, his campaign promises. All they're doing is going up. Things are getting harder in order to obtain. Eggs, for God's sakes. That was the big topic of conversation. Now, I don't want to confuse you. While many people are having voters' remorse, there are still some, surprisingly, supporting Trump through and through. The other night on Political Beatdown, Ben Meiselas, my co-host, and I, we spoke just about this topic and the issues that are going on. Those that are no longer supporting him or allege that they're not, and those that remain loyal to the core. Play the clip.
So Rick Scott, MAGA Republican senator from Florida, quite literally settled like the biggest Medicaid fraud. He invoked the fifth 75 times. He made his money at a company like Columbia Health or whatever it was called that settled with the government for billions of dollars for Medicaid fraud. And he invoked the Fifth Amendment in proceedings to try to avoid, criminal ramifications. Then he took his money and then he became a politician in Florida. Right. Take a look at some of these headlines, Cohen.
How about Ben? How about one of the people that he actually pardoned? The guy had, I think, the biggest Medicaid fraud. Isformis in Florida. He bought a pardon from Trump in the first administration. We're talking about like a $1.2, $1.3 billion Medicaid scam. Look, I don't know the case. I don't know that case. It's just fact, right? It's just fact. I'll tell you a very quick, can I tell you a very quick one? There's a friend of mine who happens to live in a southern state, a very red state, whose child, the child has juvenile diabetes. And, it's very, very sad. But I do have to say that the insulin is extremely expensive. And it's not like he has a big paying job. He has a job and he's working and he's trying to put food on the table and pay the rent and everything else. He's got a lot of stuff on his plate, right? He's afraid that they're not going to be able to afford the insulin. And so I'm saying to myself, wow. Would you vote again for Trump right now, knowing what you know? If the election was being held tomorrow, and son of a bitch, he turned around and he said he would. And I'm saying to myself, how sick does your child have to get before which you turn around and say, stop? He said he was not going to touch Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security. Now what? How stupid can people be to continue to listen to the lies that are being promoted and regurgitated by this group of goofballs until you turn around? It is up to us. I have been talking now for, I don't even know how many years, 4 or 5 years, warning the American people exactly what was going to happen. And for the most part, my predictions have come true. How many more times did, Ben, you and I have to sit and yell from the rooftop before people who are being affected wake up and turn around and say, okay, let's now focus not so much on Trump. Let's not focus on, again, the cast of goofballs. Let's not focus on that. Let's focus on what we need to do in order to take back the country, to ensure our democratic republic continues. What do we need to do? And there is only one answer. And that's to organize. That's to be a part of a community like Midas Touch Network. By the way, I'm going to now give Ben a little pat on the back. If I was with him, I'd give him a little smack in the head, right? Over 4 million people are now part of the Midas Touch Network family. Think about that, all right? 4 million, that the numbers are greater than that of Fox News, that the numbers coming out of Midas Touch Network and all of the properties, Political Beatdown, Mea Culpa, Legal AF, the Meiselas brothers, all of them combined together, outshining even Joe Rogan, who was like the number one podcaster for a long time. Why? Because our message is being heard, but 4 million isn't going to do it. We want to get to 5 million. And after 5, I'm a little bit selfish. I want to see 10. Why? Because come 2026, when it's time to organize, time to ensure that everyone, I don't care how lazy you are, get up and go frickin' vote. Make sure that you vote, because if you don't vote, you have no right to complain. Plain and simple. And that's why Midas Touch Network, networks like this, the independent ones that aren't controlled, this is where people have to come. This is where you need to hear your raw, your unfiltered, legitimate facts. Not the fake bullshit like what Ben was talking about with the binder, right? Oh my God, he's holding, like when Trump, for example, was holding a binder and somebody, and you start flipping through the pages, somebody, of course, slowed it down and realized it was a binder filled with blank pieces of paper. We don't need a reality show. We need a president who cares about this country like the way we care about this country.
Yeah, Cohen, that's why when you give me a story like that and I think about the person, you know, whose disabled kid is going to suffer pain, and that individual can have the pain inflicted on them by, you know, not the rage algorithm crap, right? Not the, oh my God, Hunter Biden's coming for me. No, actual pain inflicted upon their family members. On their lives, on their communities. But let's just be selfish for a second, right? Your family is being screwed. Your Medicaid's being taken away. If your kid is part of a special needs program at school, that's being taken away. You may have lost your job. Prices are going up. These things are actually hurting you. But what makes you more mad is when Fox does a segment on a transgender volleyball player backup from San Jose State.
Let me say this for a second. You know, I'm not so sure that you're right. You see, when it's their kid that's going to be going to school and coming home from school hungry because they can't afford to send the kid with lunch, that's when they're going to start to see. You see, look, there's a lot of trolls that decide to join us. They can't help themselves. You're never going to convince a troll or anybody anything negative about Trump, which is exactly what you're saying. The only time that they will feel the pain is when it hits them in their doorstep, when it's their children that have an issue, when it's their job that has now been terminated because Doge decided that that whole agency doesn't need to exist anymore. Then they will turn around and say to themselves, like those old VA commercials, what the fuck did I do? Seriously, what did I do? It is only then will we be able to convince them, sit back, shut up, stop with the trolling. Stop trying to protect somebody who doesn't give a flying shit about you. He doesn't know you if he ran your ass over with the beast. You understand that? He doesn't care about you or your family. The greatest con in the history, we kind of talk about this with Anna Delvey. The greatest con in the history, probably of the world, is Donald Trump, a guy who was born with a platinum spoon in his mouth, not a gold spoon, not a silver spoon, a platinum spoon in his mouth, convincing the American people, that silent majority, the dingbats, that he is one of them and that he cares about them and that he and only he can save them. From what? We don't know. But don't worry, that boogeyman is under the bed or in the closet and he will stop them from coming and haunting you at night. This is exactly what he has managed to convince these, let's just call them mentally inferior morons, all right? And until they understand that the things that he is doing and the things that the folks around him are doing, they will not understand what you and I are saying on any day of the week.
Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.